Hello and welcome to the camera and to the ether. Just once again a long day, but long fun-filled day. Tired nonetheless, and still a little sleep deprived. So I have to head to bed early tonight, so I can have some work in the morning, so I can get to that. So the title of today's video is that I am stupid. Now that shouldn't be very hard for you guys to have figured it out by now, but nonetheless, I wanted to reiterate that I'm aware of the fact that I'm stupid. And I think that's something that I'm very grateful for. Not that I'm stupid, but the fact that I'm aware that I'm stupid. That I don't particularly have any, unique, great natural talent whatsoever. That anything I wish to make of myself, the only way forward for me is obsession. Because I found that I'm perhaps I'm too motivated by the idea of notoriety that even this pursuit is something that was done with the intention of perhaps being seen one day, right? And I feel like sometimes I am a narcissist, and the times that I'm not a narcissist, I have no self-esteem. Like it fluctuates between the extremes to the point where I either want to be all or nothing, and usually nothing is death. So that's a thought I have to confront very often. But nonetheless, I'm not suggesting at all that I am not suicidal. I'm just letting you know that I feel like if I say the word, my partners might hear it. But yes, um, just I don't know if I should be motivated by notoriety but I know for a fact that I want to lose myself in the pursuit of something. I want to become so obsessed with it that I forget that I exist. Because I feel like it's the it's the line from the, oh my god, yeah, Bring Me the Horizon song. I'm not so sure which song it is, but it's the line from the Bring Me the Horizon song. I long for that feeling when I cannot feel at all. And I think the feeling of not feeling at all, I think that lies in obsession, that lies in me losing my mind to the thing that I wish to pursue in life. And I'm not so sure if that's a very smart thing to aim for. But nonetheless, I feel like my sanity is the pursuit of its destruction. That I no longer want to be plagued by thoughts of who I am, that there will never be an answer that I'm satisfied with. So the only recuse I find is the work that I do. And it oscillates between the two facts that you obsess with your work, and in that moment you're deprived of the feeling of victory. And the moment you have the feeling of victory, you question the meaning of that victory altogether. So it oscillates between one form of meaninglessness to another form of meaninglessness, but nonetheless what persists is is the meaninglessness of life. But I think for brief moments it doesn't matter. I think for brief moments we forget that we exist. We forget that we forget the idea that there needs to exist a meaning in order to make this life worthy of pursuit. I don't know what I'm doing, and I feel like that's once again the only thing that I can offer solace with is that I can offer solace to the people who don't know what they're doing, but nonetheless are trying to figure it out. And I want to reassure you, I don't think those of us who've been cursed down this path will ever find the right answer, because there's no right answer for us. And perhaps neither should there be. I'm not so sure if I recall this correctly, but I think it was Oscar Wilde who said, if you know exactly what you want to be, you will become it, and that is your curse. And I don't know exactly what I want to be. I mean, I have guardrails about the things that I want to do in life, but who I want to be is an answer that keeps changing. Even what I want to do is an answer that keeps changing. It depends on the change from moment to moment. But then the nature of any pursuit bearing fruit is that it must be sustained over a long period of time. You can't hope to achieve any of the things that I want to in terms of the remarkableness of the achievement if I keep switching from moment to moment my pursuit. All life often feels like one dilemma exchanged for another. It's rocket science in one sense, in the sense that there is no perfect right answer. You trade one variable for the other and see what the outcome is. And if it's a desirable outcome, you stick to it. If it's not, you trade another variable, you switch another variable around, you shift another parameter. And I think all of life is that constant adjustment. And that adjustment again keeps us occupied. And the adjustment is what makes us perhaps forget about our own insignificance. Because the question of whether you are significant or not only exists when you perceive a you. When you lose your sense of self in your pursuit, there is no longer that question to answer, because that question no longer makes sense. Because the thing, the object, or the entity that for whom the question must be answered no longer exists. I also feel like perhaps the fact that I can retain information that I learnt once has worked against me in a lot of ways in my pursuits, because I have never really seen hard work I don't think I've ever done hard work in my life. Never studied hard. I don't like that. I'd like to change that. There's long pauses because I don't know if saying something is as important as saying nothing at all. Sometimes I feel like your gift is a curse, and my gift, which is a curse, is that I oh my god, I think I'm paraphrasing Eminem's words from Not Afraid. Yeah, paraphrasing it, it's my gift is a curse because I can blurt out words. And it's a constant it's a constant grinding of wheels trying to understand the entire universe. And I think that's why the universe is God. Because I don't think us mortals can fathom. I don't think us mortals can fathom anything that's so divine that that's beyond our capacity to do it. Which is why we default to the idea of religion, and simplifying our logic for why things are the way they are. Because then you don't have to answer that question. Because then you don't have to grapple with the reality of whether any of it is real. Sometimes I feel like your disciplines are also shackles, in the sense that there are things that you want to continue doing for the rest of your life, but you don't know if it's the right thing to do. And maybe they're not shackles, then I just feel like, fuck, the regrets you choose again. Yeah, regrets you choose. And I feel like I'd regret it a lot more if I didn't speak than if I did. Yeah, I regret. I used to, at least speaking from the experience I've had, I regret a lot more not speaking when I had something to say than I did speaking too much when I had nothing to say. Both are not particularly great, but when you focus on speaking, you sometimes end up overcompensating, sometimes make the mistake of speaking too much. But that's a regret I've chosen. Not that that's an excuse not that's an excuse to stop working on it, but I think it's a small comfort that you can find in the choices that you make. And I think this is all I can offer, which is stories like this, or rather, they're not even stories, they're more of I'd fancy myself a tour guide on the journey through the journey through whatever the fuck this is. Reality, your mind, my mind, dreams, I don't know what it is. But yes, I'll fancy myself a tour guide through that. I'll fancy myself someone who can perhaps share your pain and tell you that wherever you are, I'm there. And I think that's the best any creative or writer can hope for, which is that, hey, do you feel like this? Because I feel the exact same way. And I think there's no justification per se for your feelings. They happen to exist, and the only comfort you can find is in knowing that your feeling is not foreign, that it's something that others have felt before and others after you will feel. I feel like I've been waiting too much for the perfect time to start writing. I think the perfect time is now. Because I exist in the now. I don't know if I'll exist later. And it's a repeat saying, which is perfect time to start something was 6 months ago. The next perfect time is now. So yeah. I wish you a good night. Introspection is sometimes a substitute word for overthought. So reflect, learn, put it aside. Don't sit, obsess, because no matter how much you think about it, you cannot rewrite your memories, you cannot change the past. Or rather, don't rewrite your memories. Simply be. If something has happened, use your memories to learn from it, not to haunt you. Simply learn from it. Learn from it so you can make better decisions than later. Because that's the only reflection of intelligence. Intelligence is doing something, taking the information you get from it and then using it, moving on. And it is without this idea of obsession with what happened. You're not reliving that scenario. You're simply using what you learned from what happened. So yes, do not substitute overthought. So do not use the word introspection to justify your overthought. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is just not even tell your brain to shut up, just let the thoughts be, let them flow, disassociate from them. I don't know if it's the best of advice, but I remember watching the video of a monk, and he says, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not your thoughts, you are something. You are something that can witness all the three. And with that, I'd like to end the stream for today. Good night to the camera and to the ether. Some work to do, and I'm plenty tired as it is. See ya, and I hope you have a good life.